If you're anything like me, you probably have a lot of big ideas, but lack motivation and lack belief in yourself. You spend your time watching TV and scrolling through social media, wishing that that person with all the followers and the really cool lifestyle and really cool job could be you, or thinking about how hard can it really be to be like them. You have spurts of motivation where you think about doing something, but just as quickly as that motivation and the ideas come to you, it goes away and you're back to square one. Outside of social media, you hardly get out of your house, sleeping in, staying up late, and you don't talk to many people as your life is slowly deteriorating. But then, out of nowhere, the algorithm shows you a self-improvement video where these guys start talking about how to fix your life and how to take accountability. You see normal everyday people like you accomplishing things you would want to be doing. You watch more and more of these videos and start to get more motivated. You like that there's a community and there's a sense of accountability. So you start reading more, reducing social media, even deleting a lot of apps. You start going to the gym, traveling, talking to different people, and all around just working on yourself. But then you sit there after a while doing this and you don't really know how much has actually changed. Do you feel that much better? Are you really happier? Or are you doing things that are just supposed to make you happy? So you sit there and wonder, does self-improvement actually work? I think many of us get into self-improvement videos mainly because we feel that there's something out there more for us and there's more to life. There's this like curiosity for more, and me personally, I feel like wasting time is such a crime. Now this could be because from like a young age, my parents always just instilled in me not to waste time. But that kind of instinct led me to just always wanting to be productive and always wanting to just have something to do and just not wasting time. So it's very easy to see why, with that kind of a mindset already instilled in me, that I would be very interested in like self-improvement and self-development videos. And I'm sure many of you feel the same way. It's very easy to see why this type of content can garner such a large audience. I think at the end of the day, the people who watch these type of videos are people like me and you who just want a sense of community, belonging, and want to feel like they've accomplished something. Now, somebody who's watched and consumed this content and also created this content for about 1.5 years now, I think the question a lot of people have is, are self-improvement videos actually ruining your life? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video, so let's get right into it. I think one of the big issues with self-improvement videos in the self-improvement community is people think it's an end-all be-all. They feel like starting on a self-improvement journey and consuming this type of content will fix all of their problems, rather than looking at it as they should be taking bits and pieces of content and bits and pieces of self-improvement tactics and implementing it into their life as they see fit and where they see fit. Self-improvement, just like pretty much anything else, is not a one-size-fits-all thing. I think this is a big issue that you can see within self-improvement communities and self-development communities is a lot of people know that the people who are consuming this content are generally people who want to gain new knowledge, want to gain new information. They know that by giving direction or advice, they can garner a large following, and then obviously that leads to sponsorships and more money. I think it's kind of challenging sometimes when you look at these bigger creators who are already in the space and when you're listening to them because they've already made it. So we don't really know if that what they're saying is what they did to get to, let's say, like 1 million or 2 million, 3 million subscribers, or they're just doing that now that they're at that place. You really don't see much of the other side. It's very easy for somebody who has a lot of following to say that this is what you should do, and then for the average person just to believe it because they have a following, obviously, that they've garnered. So we really don't know if that's actually what they do or if they're just saying that now that they've got to where they've gotten. I think another thing we really don't see from the content perspective is the ups and downs. We obviously see a lot of the ups, but we don't really see much of the downs. I know for me, I'm a very productive person. Like I've tried to implement productivity in all aspects of my life, and I've become a lot more productive than I was in the past. And that's definitely an indictment towards self-improvement. Like once I started getting on this journey is when I've noticed myself becoming more productive. But there's obviously going to be times where I'm not productive or I'm not at my peak performance. For example, like this past month, I've not been as productive and I've not been at like the top of my game trying to achieve what I've been achieving, and I've definitely fallen off a lot more than in past. And this is completely normal. Like everybody has their peaks and valleys, has their ups and downs, but when you look at things from like a content perspective is you have to put out content regardless. So for me, like I'm putting out these videos this month, even though like maybe I've had like not as productive as a month. So if I was somebody who was strictly talking about productivity and self-improvement, it could have been very easy for me to just put out like these content. Like I could have put out 5 ways to be productive every single month, but this month I could have been completely unproductive. And so it's like, when you're at that top, it's very stressful, I feel like. And I'm sure it is for those creators, where they have to put out content even though they might not be necessarily even following what they're saying, because it's just not feasible to keep up with that stuff every single day, every single month, every single year. I think that's a big thing where you have to really take a lot of this with a grain of salt. Like I said earlier, it's really key to just take what you feel you can apply to your life. The next thing I wanted to talk about is like this fake productivity. There's 2 sides to what I call fake productivity. Number 1 is just the overconsumption of self-improvement, self-development content, which can lead to a sense of fake productivity. What I mean by this is it's very easy to fall into a trap of just consuming this content, watching videos, watching shorts, watching podcasts, listening to podcasts about productivity and self-development, self-improvement, but then not actually implement any of the stuff that people talk about or what you're trying to get out of it. I know when I first kind of switched to the self-improvement mindset and started consuming the content, it was very easy to just watch videos and feel productive, but I wasn't really productive at all. All I did was watch videos. And especially in the beginning, there's so much extreme takes, and those type of videos do really well, especially with the algorithms these days. A lot of controversy, a lot of clickbait, a lot of extreme takes do well. At the end of the day, that type of content is just masqueraded under self-development. But really what it is just content to get you engaged and get you talking about the people, talking about the content. And it's done under the name of self-development or self-improvement. And it's so easy to just fall into this trap of consuming this type of content. But then after a while, you have to step back and look at it. It's like, okay, that type of content is actually completely useless. Another thing about this fake productivity that I like to think about is, I think people are now tending to become overproductive or overloading the productivity. Productivity doesn't mean you should have stuff to do every single second of every single day. And for me, this is something that I'm still trying to work on every single day, because like I said, I kind of grew up on this mindset of, why are you wasting your time all the time? But I'm trying to switch more to a mindset of being productive and doing this self-development, self-improvement stuff is working towards a goal of actually just having more free time. And having free time in general is not a bad thing. And every single second of free time you have does not need to be filled up with tasks or trying to achieve some big goal. A lot of times for me, I feel when I have free time and I'm just sitting around doing nothing, or quote unquote doing nothing, I feel kind of inside, it feels weird. Even when I'm watching TV shows, I feel I could be this person. I'm watching a YouTube video or I'm watching a TV show. If I work hard enough, I could be this person. Instead of watching this TV show or YouTube video, I should be working on a script, or I should be working on, practicing talking, practicing my scripts, things like that, rather than watching this, because I could be this person. But I feel that's a really negative mindset to have, because you need that work-life balance. You need that periods of relaxation, and not only relaxation will help you just decompress, but honestly, it can help you garner new ideas. You have to go out there in the real world and experience things and hang out with people and experience positive and negative things to have interesting stories to even articulate or be an interesting person in general. Having that relaxation period is very key, and just being hyper productive and kind of that productivity being pushed on us all the time in this space, it's easy to just feel that being trapped, you're trapped by trying to be more productive. So is self-improvement all bad? For me, self-improvement and self-development is probably one of the big pillars of my life at this point. I think a lot of what I do is based on this self-improvement, self-development mindset. And I think overall, it's been a really positive thing. From where I was 2 to 3 years ago to where I am now, I've grown a lot. And I've been able to just improve my entire mindset and mental health just by being on this path. I'm always grateful for that initial push of what this path and this community of self-development, self-improvement did for me. Because of this content and because of, wanting to be on this mindset, I've reduced my social media usage a lot. I've started to read a lot of books, started wellness practices like yoga, meditation, going on walks and hikes. I've been able to get closer to a lot of my friends, develop a lot of new friends, and got over a lot of fears. But I think at this point, what self-improvement means to me is just working towards becoming a more well-rounded person rather than focusing on the specifics day to day. I just want to be someone who is open and willing to accept what the universe offers to me. And if that falls within the parameters of self-improvement, then that's great. But if it doesn't necessarily fit into those parameters, I don't want to be someone who is just shunning my blessings. And I don't want to feel like I've failed because I'm trying something different. At the end of the day, I'm going to always be somebody who's going through ups and downs, peaks and valleys. I just know that's how it's going to be. And I want to continue to make this type of content. I want to continue to be in this space, but I also don't want to overconsume. Self-improvement is a great way to find community and direction in life, and it's a great starting point for that. But it's just a small piece in a much larger puzzle. Until next time, thanks for watching, and peace.